Welcome back. It's your boy Seth Garu with Maker's Bar, where we're creating 1 million leaders today for tomorrow. Some of you have been asking who was this beautiful lady on my arms when we were at this picture. And I have the privilege and honor of having that beautiful woman here with me today, Libby, designer of KIMIE Fashions and Designs, who is here today to discuss her origin, her CEO status, and advice for upcoming fashion designers. We are extremely pleased to have her with us on Vegas Bar today. Libby, how are you today?
I'm very, very good. How are you? Thank you so
I,
much for having me.
it's absolutely my pleasure. I've rarely gotten since starting my podcast, I've really gotten so much feedback on such a beautiful woman. So we are absolutely pleased to have you with us today.
You make me blush. That's a really good thing. So,
I hope so. It was really my honor. Your designs in the fashion show were flabbergastingly beautiful. I
thank you so
can't even
much.
tell you enough. Is that one of your designs that you're wearing today?
Yes. So today I'm wearing one of my, I would say office look style, just a little longer shirt tucked in the back. You can wear leggings or long boots with it. I also have a matching headpiece that goes with that. So it's
Absolutely
more,
incredible.
yeah, set in tone.
Absolutely incredible. So, Libby, tell us about yourself. Tell us where you were born, raised, and your origin story.
Absolutely. So I have a very unique background in general, and I have finally started to realizing that. So I was born in Ghana, one of the country in Africa, and grew up there till 8 years old, and then moved to Japan, which my mom is Japanese and my father is Ghanaian. So I had a honored and very fortunate to grow into different cultures, and that led me to be more culturally like interacted with other people. So when I was in college in Japan, um, I had a dream to be a sport trainer, which is like it doesn't make sense on what I'm doing right now versus what I wanted to do back then. But that led me to move to United States for education purposes. And that was back in 11 years ago. I think I'm hitting 12 now. Um, so I moved to the United States. So that's kind of a little brief of my background per se. Yeah. So getting into the fashion part is a very interesting start. If I go back to see, so why you being a designer, I myself question that sometimes because I just do this for fun. Making things or crafting is one of my hobby. It makes me happy. It makes me more creative. This unique brain have to go somewhere. So the somewhere become the product or some unique, artsy stuff. Um, when I was a child, this is when we moved from Ghana to Japan, and it was my first time going to Toys R Us, and I saw all these beautiful Barbie doll clothes. Mind you, one set of a Barbie doll clothes is about close to $10, right? So when I was crying and begging my mom for, can I get this outfit for my Barbie doll, please? And then she was looking at it, she was like, "It's $10?" Mm-mm. She said, "No, let me go ahead and not buy that." So I was really sad that specific day. And when we got home, my mom tossed me a pillowcase. This is a worn out pillowcase. And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, do you want me to fold this?" She was like, "No, make a dress with that."
Oh,
And
she told you to make a dress with it.
yes, she said, "You want a Barbie doll dress, right? Make a dress with that." And I looked at her and I said, I'm 8 years old. I don't know how to sew. So how am I gonna make a dress with this? She looked at me and said, I will teach you. Um, my mom's side has some seamstress skills from great grandmas to my grandma and to my mom. And they have made their own kimonos back then, any dresses, skirt, t-shirt, you name it, just to not purchase things. So they were not, wealthy, so they have to use certain resources for them to fill in. So my mom made her own wedding dress, and she used that same structure to the pillowcase. And that's when I learned when you make a ball gown skirt, it depends on what kind, but it's always start with at least one piece or three cuts. So the front, left and right, and then you just sew side seam, and then the middle seam, so the zipper can go up. If the seam is not in the middle in the back, then it should be on the side. So those are the things that she taught me how to cut to fit the Barbie doll. And that was probably the door opening into making things. Um, After that, I used staples, I used glue, I used anything you can think of. I used the balloon, and I cut the bottom off so the Barbie can just slip in and have the little like skirt. I use all the things, and I still have all those sets back at home in Japan. Then school happens, the focus shifts. Um, Once I decided to come to United States, or once I decided to be a sport trainer, the reason why I moved to United States was in Japan, sport trainer was not a huge hit. Right now it is, but back then it wasn't. So it wasn't like you would make a lot of money out of it. So I wanted to go somewhere that it makes sense. So I moved to United States. Um, that moved to be in a business major somehow instead of getting into the course of it. And fast forward, I ended up in Cal State Dominguez Hill campus, got my business degree in entrepreneurship. And once I was waiting for, certain documents to come through during COVID, right? Like in school is during COVID, I had extra materials. So guess what I did? I had so much time. I didn't have any sewing machine. So I decided to just fill up the time with sewing something. So I made a church dress, a square cut front, um, a skirt that goes right above your knee or just over your knee, all by hand sewing. I have not gone to school for designing, but at least I know the basic because I was playing with my Barbies. So I
And
built.
so, some of your designing, if you don't mind me interrupting, when you said a
Absolutely.
church skirt, so since you had not gone to school for designing, what gave you the inspiration?
The aspiration is is probably something that just come in mind. I have so that's a very good question. And it always take me a minute to answer that. And it was taking me a minute to answer that. But I realized that the inspiration is within myself. I cannot make something unless I don't see it. If my vision is not seen, the outfit would not come out of my head. So I would listen to music and I would imagine a beautiful church or a beautiful, hallway or a beautiful person or a beautiful animal. And then that will lead me to become the design of the art. So my inspiration is just, I can just do whatever and no one is going to care about it anyway, is how it starts. So let me just go ahead and make it for myself because I want to wear it is, right? And then it get deeper as I talk about the inspiration and why I'm coming the way how I am coming and what's the story behind the brand. I start forming it because first I didn't think about, I just do. Now I'm seeing from what I have already made over time, wait, I have a pattern, right? So why is it a same pattern? It's not like I'm mimicking Gucci. It's not like I'm mimicking, other designer. It's just how it is. It's like you can't see these things elsewhere. So I start thinking about it, and it's about I realize it's about myself. So this is where I get deeper. This is a story time.
That's what we're about. The
Yeah,
whole idea is to be able to do the story time. So please continue.
thank you. So growing up, being in two different countries, um, it's a beautiful thing. At the same time, as a child, that I was also going through a hard time of not being accepted.
Not
And
accepted for what? Please
as
explain.
being, okay, not being accepted within the community or within the country, meaning if I was in Ghana, I'm too light skinned. If I'm in Japan, I'm too dark skinned. But these are my home countries. So I want to be accepted. Do I have to choose? Maybe I should be more like Japanese. Maybe I should be more like African. But then, even I do that and I quote mimic and try to fit in, they still don't accept. That's the feeling I always had. So I will hide it and then do, just be bright as who I am. That sat with me for the very longest time. The one reason why I moved to United States is because I believed America was a melting pot. So I can blend in. No one is gonna question me. They're just gonna let me be, and that's it, right? But that wasn't the case either. Now I'm in a different land. I have two different culture background, and I do have an accent. So now I'm still getting the same questions. And in school, the longest time in school, I'm still having these questions. And I thought to myself, why do I have to explain myself so much? Right? Like why can't I just be me? And now looking back, every time I go to that rim, I ended up doing something. I ended up creating some little purse, or I ended up drawing. I expressed myself through art and not verbally, because I don't know who to talk to about this situation. It's just between myself and then the society, right? And when I start getting into the just sewing, be more like the church skirt, the outfit, and I start seeing the pattern, and I realize these are the mix of two of my culture. So,
Of the Asian culture and the
and then the
African,
African,
non-African culture? Absolutely.
correct.
Okay.
So that, thank you for verifying that. So that
For
was,
sure, for sure.
it took me about 28, 29 almost years to be okay with it. To finally say,
To be okay with what? What did you need to be okay with? The fact
I
that
needed to be okay with
the
myself.
cultural aspects.
Yeah, cultural
I'm sorry.
aspect. Yeah. To be accepted. So I'm chasing people to accept me. I want them to see me. I want them to say, yes, you're Japanese. I want them to say, yes, you're Ghanaian. And I didn't want to hear anything saying that, oh, but you're a mixed child, you know? And it took me about that long to finally accept who I am and not chase for confirmations. Um, so when I and then it's funny because I keep saying when I start designing or when I start making, I see the patterns. But it was also I was hitting that because it doesn't have to do with anybody. That's just myself. So I just enjoy myself just making things because there's certain outfit due to my body style, like my body type, there's not a lot of outfit that fits my body line. So it might as well just go ahead and make what I want to wear, right? And then walk with it. It might not look clean inside because I'm just hand sewing them, but from the outside, I know what I'm wearing because I made this. And then that proudness turned into this is my hobby. It just makes me happy. This is who I am. And in 2023 fall, I got into the modeling industry just to learn and just to network. And I met a gentleman. His name is Mike Silla. Mike Silla is a Senegalese painter, and he's also a designer. He does represent Senegalese in a very strong emotion and cultural way. Currently, he is based in Paris, and he comes to New York Fashion Week, he comes to LA Fashion Week, and when he was in LA Fashion Week, that's when I met him. At the time, I was helping organize one of the award show for fashion, and I tried to pull him in because the theme was African designer, and he was perfect for that fit. So I talked to him, I modeled for him in a different show. I brought him into this show that I'm helping, and apparently I was selected to be a trophy girl for this award show the day before. And I looked at them and I said, okay,
Trophy
well,
girl, explain trophy girl.
trophy girl is where a award show happens. The girls that who holds the trophy to give it to the person that who receives the award,
Recipient.
the
Recipient.
recipient.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then I was told that I need to have a ball gown dress to come to this event. And in my head, I don't have any ball gown dress at home, but I do have extra materials that I can maybe just put it together. At the time, I was hosting the designer at my house with my other friend, and I remember it was around 12:30 a.m. We just got back from an event, and then I said, I need to make this dress for tomorrow. So I just, and I did it all the way, 2 hour and a half, boom, done. And he looked at me and he said, I've been to so many shows. I know so many designers. And you made that in 2 hours? I said, yeah, it was just quick. Like, we just needed a quick dress. And I will share with you so you can, post it what the dress was. But it was a gold dress that looked like a trophy. It has a beautiful pent right here that pull out the skirt. It has a slit on one leg. And I used the gravity to hold the dress on me, which means so it was like a long triangle comes around, it folds over, it pull up the material up here to my waistline. And then on the hook, usually people put it over to wrap around your neck so it stays on the body. But for me, I wanted to be very playful and imaginary craziness. So I use a heavy chain that goes around my back. So this is a dress that have a very open back. The chain is just keep, moving back and forth. And that's the whole entire holder for the dress. And that naturally make me have to put my chest up, right? Because the chain cannot come forward. If they come forward, it's no one want to go there. But it was the feeling of being very elegant. It was a feeling of being very high up, that it's okay. This is me. You need to see me. But I'm not going to show off because that's who I am. I'm not going to say, I made this dress. Look at me, because that's not my character. I felt when my spine just went straight up, and that was a good feeling. And I was so proud. And he saw me make this whole thing. He saw me at the event, and he said, you need to come out from that closet. He said, I need to come up with a line. So he assigned me to actually produce a show, which is called Afro Fashion Show. And I was gonna come out with at least 12 outfits. So he assigned me, he's like, "There, you have no choice. At this point, you have to be a designer. You need to show it to everybody." And I looked at him and I said, "No, I don't feel comfortable." And this is a part, it's also a message to the younger, new upcoming designers. I personally was doing this for fun. It wasn't for business. I was feeling not confident because I felt like the people that who have gone to school, the people who have done this and they're so serious, I felt like I was disrespecting them. And for me, it was a respect that I would just stay on my lane and have this as a hobby instead of just coming out, right? And I spoke to him about that. I said, I don't feel comfortable because of these reasons. He said, when a talent cannot be hidden, it needs to be shined.
Oh, I love that.
And I looked at him and I was like, but how can I trust that? Like what would make me want to come out, and say, okay, yeah, sure. He's like, you have to just trust in yourself. He said, I've been into this business for over 35 years. I am telling you, you need to. I was in Paris. I was in Senegal. I've been to Milano Fashion Week. I've been to everywhere. Your stuff is going the right direction.
I
If you
have to
focus.
agree. When I saw your fashion show, when I saw your first fashion show, it blew my mind away. And I think, if anything, I am a dude who loves fashions myself. And I think I even mentioned to you at that fashion show
Correct.
where the men designs, because your fashions are so they have an Asian cultural aspect, and then they have a casual dress fit, and
Yeah.
that inspiration, where's that inspiration comes from? Because they have a casual nature to them, but they also have a dressy fit. Where's that inspiration come from?
So, when you purchase about a $500 outfit, it's a two sets, right? And sometimes it's way too loud, right? So you have to, then you would think about it, oh, I can't separate that because it's a set. Now, if I wear only the pants and wear a white t-shirt, it would look crazy. My inspiration was every clothes that I made is based on if I want to wear this, because if I'm gonna wear this, I'll make it. And I'm not only gonna make it just because I can wear it to one event. I need this to be multi-use on something. So a lot of my pieces are two pieces. You can dress up, you can dress down. Just putting together, it's strong. When you take one out, it's still strong, but it's not overtaking. So it doesn't feel like you're overdressed, right? The inspiration is that I wanted to wear my clothes at all time. So what is the way I can do that was making everything two pieces. Now, if I dive into the color scheme, the selections, and why I use these tones, is the story of myself. So that's the Japanese side, and that's the African side. Um, I love the fact that it's I use the softness of the Japanese look, right?
And forgive me, my dog
No,
just
it's
barked my head
okay.
around.
He got excited too.
He got excited on the designs, chick.
Yeah. That's good. So it was more of a story of that my designs are a combination of two, where I use the Japanese softness with the vibrant color of the African or Ghanaian. And when you look at one or the other, sometimes it's too soft for them to like this the softness of like it's like beige or peach, light peach color is what the
I
Asian side
noticed you
are.
use a lot of beiges and
Yeah.
peach-esque colors.
Right, and it's soft, so it's good for your eyes. And I don't want to say anything negative, but In the African culture, we are very vibrant. We're very loud. And that's one good part about ourselves. So I didn't want to use the same pattern for top to bottom. And I wanted to mix those two cultures. And it came out that some of the unique style or the certain hint of the African, and with by using the Japanese or the Asian culture's softness, texture, or the color, and just add with some vibrant color, came out to be those designs that I created. And there are some of them has a meaning because of the cultures. So I have this one look, I will also share with you. So it's a very African look if you only know African culture. But if you know Asian culture, this look would be an Asian culture look. It's a brown. For the gentleman, I have it like all here just piled up like this,
Oh,
right?
so there are some gentleman clothing. That's an
Absolutely.
interesting thing. I want you to touch on that for
Yeah.
sure.
So I have it's a couple set outfit. So one of them has like a whole pile up where you just crumble, the shoulder part, and you see this part a lot in the African traditional garments, like the Nigerian traditional garments. They scrumble the shoulders all the time.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's where I got that from. The other part of this outfit is a very long one piece, all the way that get to your shin area, and it kind of like divided on the side. So if they wear pants, they can have access to their pocket to their pants. Now this whole look, except the shoulder part, but I also have a very wide open arm that looks like the Japanese kimono, but it's also piled up to combine the African culture. And in the Buddhism, there are that look of where they wear one long outfit and then they wear a hat sometime. But that's also similar to what African do. They wear one long outfit, like it's like a dress, and then they just, pile up or they just wear a hat. So when I came up with this outfit and I was like, well, that's me. So it just made me happy. And going back to the men clothing, I do make men clothes as well. When I see a strong figure, it usually goes with a set.
Real quick,
Yes.
strong figure. What does
Um,
that mean? Elaborate on that term.
a strong figure is a leader, is a person that you look and you feel the king from it. You feel the royalty from it.
Powerful, powerful,
Very
powerful.
powerful
Okay.
people. It's
Yes.
uh it's not where this is so interesting. So when you wear one of my men outfit as a male, I see the models act differently. They will be like, whoo. And the moment they wear that, for me, I can see them as, oh, they have gotten to the next level. They have gotten to the royalty side because that's what my clothes bring. Where the moment you wear it, you feel like you're someone, right? You feel like everyone is gonna look at you. You step one in, you get into the room, and people is gonna look at you. So you need to, if it's only looking at the clothes, or are they looking at you, right? So it's like, I think they bring the confidence in them when they wear them, as a man, as a king, as a royal person. And I like that. And I didn't know I was doing that. But now that I've been to multiple shows and was able to present my clothing line, I can tell when some of the male models or any female models actually be like, oh, I like this. So the tone changes. Is one good example is there was a girl that who was modeling for me, and she had a very unique character, more in a, just she was talking a lot in a sense, and she was very bright and all that. So when I looked at her and I put her on a totally different characteristic of herself, I purposely did that to see what would that look like. So when I put her to something that is absolutely opposite than who she looked or who she is, she become that person. So it's her skill, and it's also the outfit. And she came and told me, girl, if I can't wear this and look like this, she said, you have no idea because I look good. That's what the comment was. But
And
when
that
she
is the
walked down,
point.
yeah, when she walked down that aisle, she looked absolutely different than what she was in the backstage. And that was like, I'm doing the right thing. It's like, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is like a beautiful moment I'm sharing too. And I like that. And
So some of, if I may, so some of the point and focus behind your designs is that there's a spiritual connectivity that says, I want you to feel this royal nature of yourself. Am I right?
correct. Because
And that, so that's not just for the men's line. I'm glad you mentioned the men's line. As I mentioned, I love fashion myself. And I love your stuff. I wore your stuff. I'm hoping more people get in contact with that. But part of that is the spiritual connectivity, correct?
correct. Um, I'm huge on spirituality, and
What does that mean for you?
spirituality
Correct.
is um is being in tune with yourself.
And what does that mean?
That was me accepting myself.
And what does that mean?
Accepting myself is being grounded, and when you're being grounded, you can see more because the expectation goes low, right? We live in expectation and we get drained. But if you're not grounded, you have like extreme expectations and you get lost in it sometime. When you're grounded, you know where to go. That's the intuitions. That's where what you believe. That's when, oh, I feel like I'm in the right place. And a lot of people go through a hard time. Even with myself, I sometimes I'm in and out. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. And there are times that I'm not grounded and I'm just floating and I'll have so much expectations and then I'll get
When
lost
you
in
say
it.
you're not perfect, I want to backtrack a minute. When you
Yeah.
say you're not perfect, what does that mean? Because none of us are perfect. But what does that mean as far as how it relates to your designs?
So a perfectionist is something you can chase, but no one would be perfect. We can always try to be perfect. The connection I have with my clothes is I can try to make it perfect. And if I kept chasing to be perfect, I will probably not come out to present my line to begin with. And I will still be in my head, assuming everything and chasing something that I could just let it out and be seen and let the outside people tell me, right? Because that's where the business come in. You can have a great business plan. You can have all these ideas. But if you keep it in here, what's the result? There is no results. Um, that's where I go back and forth sometimes with my design and believing in myself because remember, I just finally accept myself. I finally said, okay, I am who I am. I am a mixed child of two different countries. No one can tell me at this point that I belong here or I do not belong here because
Now your acceptance of yourself, if you don't mind, if we can trace some of that conversation, if you don't mind, what was that like to be able to say, I am a child of these mixed racial ethnicities? What was that like?
that's it would be the most common things that people would say is that who cares at this point that what people think. I cared so much of what people think about me so they can accept me for the longest time. It's almost embedded
Why
in
was
me.
that important? Let's talk about that. Why was that important?
It's, I don't know, I just wanted to be with everybody. I hated the fact that I was unique. I hated the fact that I stand out too much.
Oh, wow.
And
And that's so interesting. Let's explore that. So you hated the fact that you were unique. Unique, now we know, is a beneficial product of our
correct,
society. But
correct.
at the so I hated the fact myself that I was unique as a kid. Where does that come from you that you hated yourself as unique? And maybe I'm using too strong a term,
No,
but
you're all right
what
on.
was what was the thing that you hated about yourself being unique? Why were you not immediately accepting of yourself as beautiful?
Um, so this is where, so when I was in Ghana, right? I'm light skinned, so they would treat me differently. So if something happened, oh yeah, because you're light skinned, you get to have these. Then now I moved to Japan. Now I'm too dark skinned. Oh, you're dirty. Don't come to us. Oh, you don't have what we have. You have an accent or you have this. So you're not one of us. And I grew up majority of my childhood in Japan. Um, and it was almost like every day I had to see who's gonna ask me what question and how I'm gonna answer that.
What question regarding your race and ethnicity?
Correct. So it will be, oh my God, you speak a perfect Japanese. Where did you learn that from? And that was in the beginning of middle school, and I kind of like overcome the phase of trying to just answer. So I just kept answering until I hit 18 years old, and then I start working at the restaurant in Japan. I work at two different kind of restaurant. One of them was a ramen place, and then the other one was Hyatt Regency. So it's like two different levels of acting. So every single shift I had, every single table I go, I had to explain myself because I'm here just to take an order, right? But they will look up because they're looking at the menu, hearing my voice. They have no question whatsoever. The moment they see me, now they have a million questions. Oh my God, you speak great Japanese. Where did you learn that from? Oh, and so in the beginning, I'm being honest because I'm just answering. Oh yeah, you know, I am Japanese, right? So like now it's like acting to say and look at their response for acceptance. I am Japanese on the passport, you know?
I
And
do. I do. Actually, I do. I'm adopted, and my
yeah.
biological father was Irish, and my biological mother was black. And then my parents who raised me, who I love, who raised me as a black man. My mom was
Hmm.
Puerto Rican, Spanish, and my dad was black from Beckley, West Virginia. And so we have similar understandings in that. I'm
Yeah.
very curious as your journey was as a woman who was a designer. So some people would just say Libby is a black fashion designer. Is that something you fought against, or were you just trying to see yourself as a designer or as a black designer?
That's a really good question, isn't it? How would you how would you answer
I,
that, right?
well, I would answer it. In being in love with your designs, and you and I knowing each other outside the interview, I see your designs as universal. I see your designs as universal. They're casual, dressy. They don't necessarily have an ethnicity or a racial component to it, but I would say your designs are, they definitely have an Asian aspect, but they also have an African aspect. So I think I would more so classify your work as a European effect, because I think they have that kind of tone to them in their
Okay.
colors and their designs. And when I saw the models coming across and even the things that you wore, I've always felt your designs, pardon me, your designs have a great deal of a European flow, but they have this now. Okay, so maybe don't get mad, but I'm gonna say this part. They have a Greek aspect because their
Yes.
tones, their tones have very much a Mediterranean vibe to it. I sometimes think of some of your designs where I'm sitting in Greece, as I've been to in Greece, and I'm looking from this patio thing, and I have on a KIMIE design,
Oh,
and it's like a breeze is flowing through. I'm sitting on the patio, and I have on a KIMIE shirt and a KIMIE pants and a glass of a Greek red wine, and that's how I see some of your designs. And then when I saw the models, they often have a very dress appropriate for any occasion. I loved, and even what you have on today, I love that your models have, it has such a classy look. So I would
yeah.
design it as a European classic piece. That's how it
That's
say
how
your
you would
designs are.
classify. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I ever thought about that part, to be honest with you. So
Oh,
it's
they're so sweeping. It's very much that vibe. They're so sweeping, and even when our piece went viral, our pictures, and they were looking at you and so forth, the first thing that came to my mind was there is a very Greek element or a Grecian element to it, but I can see the Asiatic aspect and the African aspect.
yeah. So for me, I can always tell everybody that this is what I'm doing, this is what my story is about, correct? But then it's also, fashion is different. That's where the fun comes in because everybody see differently, and that's based
Yes,
on their culture. So I
yes.
can say and fight and keep saying that no, 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 it's not about the Greece. It's about, African and Asian. But then what's the point if I keep fighting, but then that's how you see it, right? So I think that's the beautiful part of having a totally different mind. It's just as when you get asked, wait, where are you from? What are you mixed with? And then they keep asking you and then they start guessing because they can't pinpoint, well, I know you're black, right? I'm sure you got a lot of that. Like, I know you're
Oh, I
black,
did. I did. And I
right?
would say, yo, I'm a black dude, period. My parents who
Right.
raised me were black people. Though I embrace all the ethnicities that are surrounding my DNA.
Right. So for me, I realize that's probably what fashion is. If a piece,
I like that. I like that. Kimmy, that's dope. That's super dope, chick. I
yeah.
dig that. I really dig that. I like that.
Yeah, because so I can say it, but then it's up to the person that who likes it and whatever they see fit for them, right? Because I know who I am. I know what my product is. Now I need to let it release that to the person that who finds a home for. And if they're
No, I like
happy,
that.
yeah, if they're happy with that, I am happy that I made them happy. And you
Oh, you
should,
made me happy, chick, when I saw your designs that day. I was super dope. I was ecstatic. And like I said, yo, Libby, we talked about it, chick. I really enjoy men's fashion. My dad, he was very much an old school cat that had the suits and ties and
yeah,
the pleated pants. And then myself being in the fashion industry as a model for about 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate how your designs flow. And when I saw your models coming through on the runway during the time when we met, they were flowing so casually, but they looked as if you can be at an extremely highfalutin meeting. Your
Yeah.
designs have been so much a graceful glass of champagne, and
Oh,
I really like that. And I actually was talking to a good friend of mine, who he and I were both in the modeling industry when we were younger. Yo, in the dinosaur years, chick.
no, you're not that far ahead.
But we were talking about your designs. We were talking about your designs. That's why I'm so excited to have you here today. And I was also like, yo, chick, what's up with the men's designs? Because the women are dope. The women are beautiful.
Yes.
But he and I were talking about it, and we were saying, you know what your designs are like? Prosecco. So when
Oh.
you drink a glass of champagne and you
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the bubble aspect of it, but you want to feel the aftertaste, that's your designs. They have this great aftertaste and they flow so casually graceful. That's what I've understood about all your designs.
Oh, thank you so much. That makes me really
Oh,
happy.
oh, well, I got to say, and then I really want to tap into this as a Black woman entrepreneur and as a CEO, you doing your designs. And since I mentioned that, what are some of the challenges you faced as a CEO of designing your own company of fashion?
Um, there's a lot of things that was not taught. There's a lot of thing of research that I have to do. There's a lot of things I didn't know that I'm still learning to this day. I am a currently a self-running, but I now would have a partner, a team, and that's probably a biggest challenging I'm going through right now is to find a good team, right? Because as a designer, I cannot do all of them. And all CEO would say that. Like, as a person, you cannot be a million things. You can think a million things, you can answer a million questions, but you cannot be at a million places. So building a really good team would be what I'm working on right now. Building a good partnership is what I'm working on right now. Um, I do seek for investors at this moment, and I do have one on board. And I'm really grateful that this year, like we are moving towards the right direction to prepare for next year. So all the industrial production, everything, we're trying to make sure this year have the beautiful, strong base so I can focus on the creation. I can focus on the clothing while the business runs smoothly, right? Um, if I had to do it all, which a lot of people do it all, and then it takes the steps back for them to get to far where you are. And it depends on different designers. A successful designer have or always have a good team. They can trust certain people to do certain things, right? So they can keep moving forward. And not to say that the other are not successful. There are people that who are successful, but it's different when you have so much detail into a piece versus, you know, you I I don't know if it's a good term to say it, but like it's a t-shirt brand and then you can and then it's a copy and paste almost. Like that's a different business plan than a fashion designers that who literally make the clothes by hand because it's so unique that you can't really factorize it because the shape is different. You have to do this, you have to do that. And then when it become like a big production, now the machine needs to be cut in a certain way for them to make that production. And when I'm like a starting like new designer or CEO of a brand, the the resources get limited, right? So I have to do what I can do right now to be seen, to be heard, and I have a strong story because I believe in myself now. I can finally be proud about it. So I'm really excited moving forward with that. With the challenging part, I know it's gonna fall in, and pieces by pieces, making sure that the steps is solid, making sure that cement is, you know, um, hard, to make sure we can all stand on top of it with all the team and just keep going up. So the challenging part are those, creating a good team would be my main challenge right now.
So, as a CEO, the greatest challenge as a CEO and you as a Black woman founder of your organization is finding a team you can trust. Would you say those words were accurate?
Yes.
And in that, in building a creative team, what do you look for in finding people you can trust? What are qualities you look for in finding people you can trust?
I want them to believe in the brand
But how do
genuinely.
you know that? How do you know that? So you're interviewing this young, beautiful lady that
Hmm.
says, "I'm going to come work for Kimmy Designs." What is your instinct? What is the standout quality that tells you she's going to be a great person to incorporate into my company? What's your thoughts behind that when you are making that decision to hire her or him?
It would be the questions that I asked for if you have looked into, right? So a lot of company does that to make sure that if they're aware of what they're interviewing for. Um, Knowing the brand, knowing the story is a really good thing, that they actually took their time to read the long message and then say, "Oh yeah, I like that." The also second important part that I would look into is the cultural aspect, because
Why is that
Kimmy,
important? That's very interesting. You mentioned that. I
yeah,
didn't want to interrupt you. The cultural aspect. What is
yeah,
that about? What's the cultural aspect that you're talking about?
not leaning on one of the other.
What does that
Kimmy,
mean?
Kimmy is a brand that send a message. The main message is it's okay to be both. It's okay that you're
Oh,
mixed. That's the biggest message I sent
oh,
out. And the
Kimmy, I'm so Libby, Kimmy. You
it's
said, well,
okay.
I'm just so glad that you said that because you know what? I really find that biracial children, now adults and or younger, they have such a hard time in hearing that that message is conveyed. It's okay for you to be biracial.
Yes.
So I didn't want to interrupt too much
No, it's
in
okay.
that portion of what you were saying, but I'm so glad you tagged into that. Being biracial and having a voice,
I
what
mean,
does that look like?
you
Yes,
know
I
what we
do.
go
I
through.
do. And
I
my
know what I
sons,
went through.
yes.
Everybody have a Yeah, everybody have a totally different characteristics, and they go through so many different levels, and there's always the worst person, there's always the less worst person than you, right? But you have to respect that. The hardest part for us is to accept ourselves. And if you were grown in a certain community that you felt like, because of who you are not being accepted, is the saddest thing that happens in this universe. And it's not only in the United States, it's not only in Japan or Africa, it's literally everywhere. And that cultural aspect is probably the second most important part to understand, that yes, I am a Black woman founder, but I'm also a Japanese Asian founder. Would I have to say that? Right? So it's like, it's just You have to be you. You have to be accept of yourself. Everybody else can say whatever they want, but as long as you know who you are, that's the most important thing, and that's the most strongest thing we can ever have. And I that's like to the ones that who grew up and that they're still not accepting themselves. They're still trying to be more one of the other culture that they're in, that they grew up in. That I that's what I want them to wear. Like those are my real target people that I want to say, hey, you want to wear my clothes? And then they'll be like, no, that's too something for me. And I was like, no, try it on and see. Because the
I'm just so glad you mentioned that, sweetheart. I think, well, you know what, chick? I think it's just such a conversation that is missed often. I think we as biracial people, we've mentioned the fact of being biracial, but the conversation that's had that we identify with a particular race or stronger. I'm a black man. I love being a black man.
right.
But the conversation is not easily tackled to say that here are some of the dynamics of being a black man in a biracial family. And I love that you mentioned as a biracial woman, in particular to how it affects your designs and influences your designs. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And I think people should check out your designs in adherence to that being a big portion of how that goes into your thought process with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
I'm just so glad I didn't expect we would go that direction. I just thought like, yo, this is my chick. She's beautiful and her designs are dope. Right?
there's always a purpose.
Yes.
There
And
always
I think the conversation sometimes is remiss to partake in the thought behind how designs are
correct.
created. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sweetheart, please tell people where they can find your designs, your link, and your sites, and we're going to include it in the publication of this interview.
Okay. So I don't know if they can see the logo right here, my
They
little name.
can, they
Yes.
can, they can.
So you can go ahead and type in KIMIE Collections on Instagram, and you can find me there. There's a tree link that is attached to that that talks about the whole entire story about my brand. And then you can also find the Etsy shop and everything. I do jewelry as well. So I'm sure you will
I
find.
have one of your pieces, chick. I
Yes.
wore it to the black yo chick. I wore it to the Black Boy Art Show,
Uh-huh.
which people were just like, yo. And I meant to tell people how to get to your site. So please let
Uh-huh.
them know you do art pieces. I
Yes.
wore one because, like I said, I'm a fashion dude. You gave me a beautiful piece. I should have
Oh.
actually put it on for our interview, but forgive me, my sweetheart. I wore one of your pieces to the Black Boy Art Show that just happened in LA. So I really appreciate that you
Oh,
designed
that's
our
so
pieces as
sweet.
well.
Thank you.
Oh, yo, we making them gossip. We making them gossip. I'm already dating
Yay.
you. I'm already dating
Oh,
you,
right.
and we're gonna have 3 kids. We're having 3 kids, and
I didn't
I'm
know
gonna
that.
be yeah. You know what? I hope you know it because I don't know yet if you married and stuff like that. But I'm gonna say respect to your dude or chick or whichever way. But I'm just gonna say I have loved your pieces and your fashion show was absolutely incredible.
Thank
I
you.
felt so privileged to have met you, and I'm just so excited that people were like, "Yo, you cats are dope." Even the photograph that we took, and I thought you told me that was one of your designs. I'm so glad that we were able to capture that picture as a viral moment of sorts. I
Absolutely.
put it on my TikTok and so forth, and you know what? I'm a lucky cat because I had such a beautiful woman on my arms. And you know what? I just felt like when my dad told me, I saw the picture later and I was like, yo, dude, you had this beautiful lady who's an incredible entrepreneur, incredible leader, incredible CEO, incredible founder, incredible designer. I'm so glad you chose to spend your time with us on my podcast today. Thank you so much, Kimmy.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was my pleasure.
It was, oh, sweetheart, it was absolutely my pleasure. I'm already in love, chick. I think your design so. I'm waiting for the men's pants and that kind of stuff because I got some events coming up, so I got to be spotlighting some of my stuff, chick.
Okay, sounds good. We'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
All
Kimmy,
right.
thank you so much, my beautiful. Please, one more time, let people know where they can find you and be able to get your links and connections. And we're also going to put it in the interview after we end this interview.
Okay, so you can again find me here on the little notes in the front, KIMIE Collections on Instagram, and that would have a link of a tree link that includes a lot of things that you can go through.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us
Thank
today.
you so much.
Again, oh, it's our pleasure. One love, family. This is your boy Seth Garu with my incredible, beautiful lady that you guys were asking me about, KIMIE. Well, we say Libby.
It's okay. I got my KIMIE too.
Okay, so we say KIMIE and Libby at KIMIE Designs. We are extremely pleased and honored and humbled to have her with us today. Now, if you are enjoying this interview, please like, share, and subscribe to Maker's Bar. All our followers, we thank you so much. We're hitting a milestone to 1 million subscribers. And KIMIE is one of the latest people. I'm so glad to be able to share this thing with her as being one of our guests. So please hit like, share, and subscribe. Be able to put your comments in there and check out her site. And as sometimes I've been remiss to say, the Lovolution is the revolution that we want. To create a revolution of change is to inspire love. The Lovolution is happening. Lady KIMIE, thank you so much, my beautiful.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, my sweetheart.
Okay, thanks for having me.
It's absolutely our pleasure at Maker's Bar. It's absolutely our pleasure. I'm seeing you at the next event. I'm going to send you an invite after this interview. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, my beautiful.
Okay.